Strap in, buckle up, and get ready to lay it on the line. This is Not Speeding, Just Qualifying, a podcast that's just as fast as it sounds. Hello, family. Welcome to an all-new episode of the Not Speeding, Just Qualifying podcast. I'm your host, David Lawrence. Thank you guys so much for putting me in your ears today. Before we get started, our usual pre-show reminder, subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube Music. We have a nice, lovely little corner in the podcast section of the app. Please subscribe so that way you do not miss whenever we drop new content here on the channel. You will be glad you did. Today, we've had a fun week. If you have been with us, we have dropped 2 preview episodes, one for the World Endurance Championship and one for MotoGP. If I have pressed the correct buttons, you will see links to those pop up on your screen if you're watching us on YouTube right now, or listening along, I should say. Today we have the third and final preview. It's been a very busy week because it's a very busy weekend in the world of motorsports. Today's preview is about a homegrown, good old American favorite as they are set to wave the green flag on 2025. I'm referring to America's premier open-wheel racing championship, the NTT IndyCar Series. As you guys know me, I'm not just one to jump right into the heart of the upcoming season. For those of you all that are new on this motorsports journey and are like, David, what is IndyCar? Allow me to give you a little bit of a refresher. Just a quick history about where the series has come from. The origins of American open-wheel racing trace back to 1902 when this championship was sanctioned and organized by the American Automobile Association, also known as the AAA. Yes, the same AAA that you call for roadside assistance today was once upon a time the organizer of the biggest championship in American motorsports, because honestly it was the only game in town. American Open Wheel Racing has been the longest running championship in the United States, and early on it had quite the game changer. In 1909, Carl Fisher built the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and in 1909 and 1910, he had multiple races at his new speedway. But going into 1911, he decided to go from hosting multiple races to focus on one big showpiece event. Distances ranging from 1,000 miles to even 24 hours were considered, but eventually he settled on just 500 miles. On May 30th, 1911, the International 500-mile sweepstakes was ran. Ray Haroon covered the distance in 6 hours, 42 minutes before a crowd of 85,000. And as they say, the rest is history. The Indianapolis 500-mile race, known as the greatest spectacle in racing, is one of the oldest motorsports events in the world that still continues to this day. Getting back to AAA real quick, they sanctioned not just the Indy 500, but they sanctioned the American Open Wheel National Championship up until 1955. The United States Auto Club, better known as USAC, took it over in 1956, which saw changes such as rear-engine cars, removing dirt tracks from the schedule, and also the birth of the 500-mile Triple Crown, which lasted for 2 decades. USAC was best known for bringing stability to the championship and rising the popularity of open-wheel racing in America. However, rising costs and disgruntled teams in the 70s seeking change led to the formation of championship auto racing teams in 1979. Between CART and USAC, 2 series were ran from 79 to 81. CART eventually became the sole season-long championship, while USAC retained sanction of the Indianapolis 500. However, by the end of the 80s, tensions would appear again, which would eventually lead to the formation of the Indy Racing League in 1996. Once again, there's 2 series at the top of the American Open Wheel Racing ladder, but these series would last from 1996 to 2007. By this point, CART, now known as Champ Car, as well as the IRL, were both low on car counts, TV numbers dwindling, and race crowds shrinking. So a solution had to be found. In 2008, the 2 series merged, which has led to the IndyCar series we know today. That's a brief history of IndyCar history up to this day. If you want a more detailed account of the last 50 years of IndyCar racing in America, I highly recommend you go to YouTuber NASCAR Man's channel. He and another YouTuber, Brock Beard, Brock narrated for NASCAR Man a 4-part documentary series that goes into detail about IndyCar's troubles, which led to its first and second split that basically laid the groundwork for where IndyCar is today. So I personally have watched it multiple times. If you got about a good hour and a half, highly recommend you take some time and give it a watch. Alright, now that we have fully got history behind us, let's move on to 2025. Let's start with the championship schedule, which will consist of 17 races. Kicking off March 2nd, the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg on the streets of St. Petersburg. On March 23rd, we will have the Thermal Club Grand Prix. Last year, this was a made-for-TV, $1 million to the winner, non-championship event. This year is a full-on championship round. We'll stay out in Southern California. April 13th, the famed Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach celebrating its 50th anniversary. After the race that's known by many as the Roar by the Shore, we're heading back east. May 4th, the Indy Grand Prix of Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park just outside of Birmingham. And then we move into the month of May. Saturday, May 10th, the Indianapolis Grand Prix held on the 2.4-mile Indy road course. And then May 25th, the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. After the month of May, we head to the streets of Detroit on June 1st for the Detroit Grand Prix. June 15th, we are back on the ovals. We are at Worldwide Technology Raceway just outside of St. Louis for the Bommarito Automotive 500. June 22nd, America's National Park of Speed, Road America. July 6th, the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. Then it's our only doubleheader of the season, July 12th and 13th. We are at Iowa Speedway. Saturday night will be under the lights, and then a regular Sunday afternoon show. July 20th, our one and only stop outside of the United States. We head north of the border for the Honda Indy Toronto at Exhibition Place. On July 27th, we head to the West Coast for the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We'll stay out west. We'll head up north to Portland for the BitNow.com Grand Prix of Portland on August 10th. And then we head back east to finish the season. The famed Milwaukee Mile returns on Sunday, August 24th, before we crown a champion in Nashville, the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, Nashville Super Speedway, Labor Day weekend, Sunday, August 31st. Alrighty, now that we've got the schedule, let's talk teams and drivers. 27 drivers from 11 different nations will be driving for 11 different teams in the 2025 NTT IndyCar Series season. And for this episode, I'm focusing on just full-time drivers only. And we will go through each team with their drivers with team alphabetical order, kicking us off with AJ Foyt Racing. Starting with their new signing in their number 4 car, David Malukas. He jumps over from Meyer Shank Racing after running the second half of the season with them. Of course, he was supposed to race with Aaron McLaren, but injured himself before the start of the season. Never made a start for the team before the team released him. But now he's hungry and looking to show what he can do with AJ Foyt Racing returning alongside Santino Ferrucci, who is in his third season with AJ Foyt Racing, who as a collective have a lot to be excited about as they are starting a new technical partnership with Team Penske this season. Moving on down to Andretti Global, who has been one of the series heavyweights for plenty years. Starting with their star driver, number 26, Colton Herta. He was runner-up last season with 2 wins, including his first oval win, which shocked me when I found out about it, at Nashville in the season finale. His teammates, Kyle Kirkwood, back for his 3rd season at Andretti Autosport, and second-year Andretti man Marcus Ericsson, both hoping to rebound from winless 2024 seasons. Next team on the list is Arrow McLaren, who have a lineup that was completely different from what it looked like 12 months ago. I mentioned Malukas was signed to drive for the team, but never raced for them. However, one guy that was there, the anchor and team leader, Mexico's Patricio O'Ward, number 5. 3 wins the season ago. He ended up 5th in the title race and was devastatingly so close to finally winning the Indy 500, finishing 2nd for the 2nd time. Joining him, number 6, Nolan Siegel. He jumped into Arrow McLaren halfway through 2024. Nolan made headlines for his go for it, go broke, or go home attempt to make the Indy 500 with Dale Coyne. Nolan, unfortunately, was the sole man who didn't make the field. But now he's at a stable, solid, competitive team ready to kick off its first full IndyCar campaign. Last but not least, the completely new member to this team, driving the number 7, is Christian Lundgaard. He comes over from Rahal Letterman Lanigan, where he was a race winner in 2023, and with Arrow McLaren, he hopes to get back on winning ways. Then there is the juggernaut that is Chip Ganassi Racing. I also like to call them the team of winners and legends. Those are Chip's words, not mine. Strapping in for his 2nd season at CGR is number 8, Kiffin Simpson, and he has 2 teammates that any driver in this garage will either A, love to have, or B, loathe to have because of their success. The number 9, Scott Dixon, 6-time series champion, 58-time race winner, and it just seems with every passing year he chooses to come back, he inches closer to those records. And then there's the current king of IndyCar, 3-time series champion and winner of the last 2 titles, Spain's Alex Palou. Can he do the unthinkable? Can he win his 3rd straight IndyCar title this season? Moving over to Dale Coyne Racing. Unfortunately, Dale Coyne's been known as a meme for a lot of years, but this season seems like he's getting the house in order with 2 full season drivers on his roster. Number 18 will be Holland's Rinus VeeKay. He comes over from Ed Carpenter, where he was a proven race winner. And joining him, one of 3 full-time rookies on the season, and that will be Jacob Abel, last year's Indy Next runner-up, making the step up to the big leagues. I mentioned Ed Carpenter Racing, where Rinus VeeKay raced his last few seasons. That's our next team on our list. Ed Carpenter, the team owner, usually ran ovals while he had a driver do road courses. That won't be the case this year. Instead, his number 20 will go solely to Alexander Rossi, who, after not being able to come to contract terms with Arrow McLaren, found refuge at ECR and is hoping to get back to winning ways himself. Joining Alex in the full season lineup in the number 21, Denmark's Christian Rasmussen. He's doing the full season this year after doing road and street courses along with the Indy 500 last year. And I think Christian is a very talented driver. He's up for the challenge, so let's see how the young Dane gets along. Our next stop is Juncos Hollinger Racing. A little bit of new and a little bit of familiarity. Let's start in their number 77 car with what has to be the best name in the series, Stingray Robb. The second-year driver is coming over from AJ Foyt, while his teammate is a face that is familiar with plenty of IndyCar fans. He is one of the most visible voices for IndyCar. The Super Sub is no longer Super Sub. He is back full-time. The number 78 will be driven by none other than Connor Daly. Ready to compete in 2025 is Meyer-Shank Racing. Back for them for his second season is Felix Rosenqvist piloting the number 60 car. And in the number 66 this season will be Marcus Armstrong of New Zealand, who comes over from Ganassi hoping to nab that first win this season. Now let's talk about the new kids on the block. Prema Racing, the Italian junior Formula powerhouse, is trying their hand at IndyCar this season. They'll be entering two cars this season, starting with the number 83 of Robert Schwartzman, a very accomplished rookie if you look at him through that guise, a winner in Formula 2, a winner in the World Endurance Championship, and a longtime F1 reserve driver for Ferrari. Now coming over to America to try his hand in IndyCar. Alongside him, a face that is very familiar to IndyCar fans in the form of Callum Ilott. Ilott is in Premus number 90, back in the IndyCar series full-time after going full-time in the World Endurance Championship, making some cameo appearances in IndyCar last year. Then there is Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, led by their veteran hand, number 15, Graham Rahal, back for his 19th IndyCar season. He has two new faces around him at RLL. The first is Devlin DeFrancesco of Canada. He'll be driving the number 30 Honda. He's back for his third season after he spent 2024 on the sidelines. And then the number 45 will be occupied by an absolutely new face to IndyCar, Louis Foster of Great Britain, the reigning Indy Next champion. And when I say he won that championship, he dominated it. 8 wins from 14 races and won the title with a race to spare, and honestly should have clinched the title a whole lot sooner than that. Finally, let's talk about a true pillar of the IndyCar paddock, and that has to be Team Penske. Once again, they are back with 3 cars. Their pilots, two-time defending Indy 500 champion Joseph Newgarden, hoping to make history. No man in the history of the Indy 500 has ever won it 3 straight years. Is 2025 the year Joseph rewrites the history books? The number 3, Scott McLaughlin of New Zealand. The Kiwi embarks on his 5th full-time season. He's been 3rd in the championship standings the last 2 years and is becoming a perennial championship contender. Is this the season Scotty Mack puts it all together? And last but not least, Australia's Will Power in the number 12 Verizon Chevy, 2-time series champ, last season visited victory lane 3 times and was 4th in the final season points. Does Will have what it takes to hoist a 3rd series title or a 2nd Indy 500? There you have it, gang. The entire 2025 full season grid for the NTT IndyCar Series. I did breeze through all 27 names really quickly, and I know listening to this, I probably didn't do these guys justice. So I hope I gave you guys an inkling to tune in and watch the upcoming IndyCar Series season, which is a perfect segue into our next segment. How can you watch IndyCar this season? Well, there's a big change on the horizon for IndyCar. For 2025, the series has a new television partner after signing a multi-year deal with Fox Sports. All practice and qualifying will be shown on FS1 and FS2, while all 17 races will be shown live on the Fox Broadcast Network. Your on-air team is as follows. In the booth, Will Buxton, who a lot of us know as a longtime Formula One journalist and personality, comes over to be the play-by-play voice of IndyCar in the Indy 500. Alongside him, two guys you know very well from their IndyCar coverage over the years, James Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell. On pit lane, the always reliable Kevin Lee will be joined by Georgia Henneberry and a new face to TV but not to the IndyCar paddock. Jack Harvey joins Fox as a pit reporter for this upcoming season. So definitely tune in and watch. Will Chevrolet or Honda be the fastest engine? Which team will take advantage of most of their resources? And which driver will unleash their inner daredevil in the pursuit of victory? All I can tell you, you have to watch to find out. All right, family, that concludes this IndyCar preview episode of the Not Speeding, Just Qualifying podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Before we sign off, your friendly reminder to follow us on our social media channels. We are on X, we are on Instagram, and we are on Blue Sky at the handle NSJQ Podcast. I'll also say this one more time for those in the back of the room that missed it the first time. Subscribe to us on YouTube and on YouTube Music so you do not miss an episode. Also, if you like our content, please like and share with friends and family because we want to spread this word to the masses. This is some pretty good content, and I think you would like your friends and family to hop on the train as well. Am I right? Lastly, if you want to follow me on my personal social media handles, I will drop the handles to those in the description box to this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening today. Hope you guys enjoy the NTT IndyCar Series season. Until next time, I'm David Lawrence. Remember, you're not living life to the fullest until you're going flat out. So long, everyone.